Alrighty, we're back. So, as I'm sure everyone is aware, the 151 / Prismatic Evolution ETB hit. Like I said a month ago, it was not going to be small. And like I said a month ago, it didn't matter. So, now, some perspective here. Why was I right? Well, I'm not a genius. However, I do pay attention. And if we roll back about 2 years and 10 months ish, give or take, we'll be back in 2022, 2021. And this exact same thing happened. One particular Pokemon set was the catalyst. And then everything went apeshit. Like, everything. The skies rocketed. Everything else started spiking up. Chilling Reign was terrible, though. Hello, Journey Together. I'm waiting for Journey Together to tank. We have this lovely market that's reprinting. We have an auxiliary Pokemon set that was the hotness at the same time. Shining Fates, I believe. Something like that. Now, this time around, we have Prismatic Evolutions, and it's doing the same thing. We have 151. Arguably, much more closer to my heart on that one. But we have, not Vivid Voltage, Surging Sparks. It went from, la-di-da-di-da-di-da, it's available, to, holy shit, it's $200. Okay, so, now that we've established this pattern has repeated itself, what is my opinion? After Destined Rivals drops, we will see the market become much more disinterested. It will take time. Now, why does this matter? Because the less interest there is, the less order volume, the less people are rushing to stores to buy it, the less scalping there is, the closer to MSRP it gets. The closer to MSRP we get, the less people buy and instantly resale. You see the pattern we're beginning to enter into here. Now, Destined Rivals, I will say, is a bit of an exception. It is a Team Rocket set. It is the throwback to the OG WotC era. It's the first time they've done it in absolutely ages. This set will be special. However, key caveat here, however, it will be printed. And I am warning you guys, if you were paying pre-order prices on that set at $280 a box, be ready to hold it for a while. Like, you're going to need to hold it for a good 5 to 10 plus years. You'll do okay eventually, but if you're paying those prices, be ready to hold, because you're going to need to have some strong ass hands. Because if your hands ain't strong, you're going to be timmying and dropping that shit, trust me. And you're going to take a bath. Now, where are we at with this reprint? This reprint happened. I saw numbers like 500,000 ETBs and 2 million of that, like just crazy numbers. Now, what do I think they actually printed? I think they did a dedicated full-on reprint of this, which is probably between 3 and 500 plus thousand boxes of Prismatic, and I know there was a butt ton of the 151 that got printed. Now, why does this matter? We are beginning to see some softness in these sets. 151, the little 6-pack boxes, they're like $66 a piece on TCG Player. They are down a good 25-30% from the 80 to 85 that they were at. Now, I think these will climb back up. I do not know when it will climb back up, but they will climb back up. I believe your most opportune moment to pick these up is now, as the dip happens, or when everything goes to hell in a handbasket again in about 3 to 6 months, and Pokemon is terrible and it's uninvestable and the sets are terrible and blah 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 blah, you know, the same crap that happens every 3 to 5 years. These things will retrace more. I do not see 151 and Prismatic retracing below MSRP ever. I do see Prismatic getting close to MSRP again. I can see Prismatic ETBs dropping down into like the 60s and 70s. Especially because they're going to reprint it again. Like, I'm sorry, like, if you If you have the mindset like Prismatic is going to stay $150 in ETB, you're bananas. They will reprint it, and it will be another large wave, and it will hit, and it will go everywhere. Prismatic does have something going for it where the pull rates are just absolutely brutal. Like brutal. I think you have to open like a whole case of ETBs to pop like one of the illustrators. Like, ugh. Ow. So that's a problem. So there will be quite a bit of effort extended to build those sets, which means there's going to be a lot of demand for the singles and the opening on those. 151, I can see 151 retracing back down into the 50s and 60s on the little 6-pack boosters. I can see the ETBs tracing down heavily if they reprint those. I don't know if they're going to reprint the ETBs because the ETBs are fairly inefficient for the packs. The reality is they're 9-packs, or you can do the 6-pack boxes, and they're substantially cheaper. I personally don't understand why the 151 ETBs are expensive as they are. It's like $220 for 9 packs. You get the sleeves, the coin, some dice. That's it. Like the book. Like you're basically paying $24 a pack, $25 a pack almost. Yeah, $25 a pack. Versus you can just go buy the boxes for like 66 and pay 11. I don't know. They may just not reprint those. That might be why they're going up and people are like, oh, I gotta get them. But regardless though, Pokemon at the end of the day is by the pack. If you are buying loose SKU items like this, people always price things out by the pack. They will price you out on sealed sometimes. It just kind of depends. I usually price people out by the pack though in the large lots because again, it's just more efficient. It's easier to deal with. There's no like random shenanigans. It is what it is. This enters the interesting period, right? So we definitely have a buy opportunity right now. I personally, depending on what my allocations are for high seas for Flesh and Blood, because I mean, again, if I get everything I want, I'm gonna have some sealed to be able to do my mass opening on. I'm gonna be able to have sealed that I can sell out afterwards. You know, there's going to be a good chunk of product that I will be able to retain. So I will need the cash for that. But I will find out before the TCG player sale, because that's on the 16th. So I will find out before then. But assuming I don't get what I get, or what I want, because there's no way, what I will probably end up doing is looking to pick up a bit of 151. That is definitely on my list. The wife and I actually opened that on our wedding night. Well, not our wedding night, but our wedding weekend. So like when we were staying in the cabin and stuff. So we actually have a 151 set that we have opened up together. And whenever we open that set, I put it in our master set binder, and we've just kind of been steadily adding stuff to it every year. So this year when we go out and do our anniversary, we'll crack another 25 or 30 packs that we'll add whatever we get to the binder. You know, we'll slowly but surely add singles to it. Any of the excess singles, she and I will probably go to a show at some point and probably try and trade stuff over from our 151 to other 151. And that's kind of when we complete the set, that'll be kind of fun, I think. We have an interesting thing, right? So there's definitely a lull with the reprint hitting. There is a incoming lull when the market turns. And now the question is how do you want to optimize this, right? So there is a short window where you could, in theory, buy a bunch of crap right now over the next 60 to 180 days, my guess, because some point over the summer/fall, it's going to start going down. It's going to go downhill. I don't know when, but it will start to go downhill. All it takes is 2 sets in a row. They're like, oh, it was terrible. So Journey was terrible. Sucks. Blah. So that's one bad set, but we have Destin's Rivals coming right after, so like that'll kind of recover it. But like I don't fully reset the bad sets, like a half a set. So if the next set after Destin's Rivals is it kind of sucks, blah, 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 which it probably will because Destin's Rivals is before it, so of course this better set's going to make the one after look terrible. That will probably be where the start of the turn is, and that'll be kind of the end of your window to sell off if you're picking up stuff really cheap right now. So I could be totally wrong with that. I have so far nailed it on every single spot on this reprint. Like, sure, someone can go back and find the video. I think I literally said mid-April to end of April is when the huge reprint will hit. And it literally landed mid-April. Like, I don't have insider knowledge. I totally get emails. But, like, let's be honest here. Like, it's a little bit of common sense and you kind of piece this shit together. So, you know, I was right about prismatic ETBs going back up to $150. Totally called that. You know, it's like I'm telling you what I'm doing, right? Like, I'm doing if I say I'm doing something, I do it, I move on, and I don't go around behind the scenes like, oh, let me go buy all the Nikki boxes. No, I bought 6 cases of Nikki boxes, and that's it. I'm sitting on them. I might buy a 7th. I don't know. I'm waffling. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'm not going to tell you guys what I think is going to happen and then not try and follow through with things, right? So there's probably going to be a point we'll see this kind of upturn, and then it'll kind of be a nosedive for a while until everything kind of stabilizes out, and that'll be your time to reacquire a lot of these sets that were very expensive. Now, as we shift into the new block, what will probably happen, again, because it's like there's this pattern when the new stuff is the worst stuff ever, what will probably happen is we will see the new set release and the back 2 or 3 sets kind of dip down heavily in price. The new sets will release and they will also be terrible, and we'll re-enter this bear cycle of Pokemon for probably 1 to 2.5 years, and then everything will suddenly be the new hotness, and this will kind of like be the rinse and repeat cycle here, right? I'm building out my Pokemon sealed based on these cycles because they're very consistent. I have hundreds of booster boxes now that I've acquired for this exact reason. None of them have been sold. I will continue to acquire and continue to acquire and continue to acquire. This is kind of how this process works. In 8 to 10 years, when I can really start reaping the benefits of sitting on this product for a long time and the distribution relationships, you know, this is kind of where we begin to see the compound growth occur, right? So a lot of this stuff will continue to compound and continue to grow and rinse, repeat, and just be, you know, hunky-dory. But, you know, this is a really valuable lesson of watching for the obvious plays, right? Prismatic will be reprinted again. I'm telling you right now, it is not done. It is just released. The Pokemon Company is pissed that this is a $100+ product that's supposed to be $60. They are not happy with scalpers. The Pokemon Company has no love for scalpers. Like, they don't enjoy it, they don't like them, they don't want them in their game, they know they're a problem. So what they do is they just print the crap out of stuff, and that solves itself eventually. 151. There will probably be more 151. I don't know how much. The set's now approaching 2 years old. 3 years is usually around like that top end of the timeline for that stuff, where they kind of just stop slotting it into products. However, it is 151. It's a very special set. It is what it is. Now, if they reprint the set again, we see more Blooming Waters and other things like this, I will be more than happy to pick these things up at MSRP, and I will do it in a heartbeat. Like I said, for me, it's the wife and I, we open up on our anniversary. I would like to have a stockpile of the stuff anyway, right? It would be great to be able to pad out like 10 or 15 years of that and just not have to care about acquiring more. So, you know, we have some interesting times ahead for these particular sets. There will be, you know, honestly, the next prismatic reprint is probably going to be just as large. If it's a 500,000 boxes, it'll be another 500,000 boxes. Like, they're going to smash it. Distro will probably sell a percentage under market and encapsulate a ton of profit. Pokemon Company will probably be really annoyed, ship most of it to the big box retailers, and everyone will get their case or two of whatever, the obligatory from the distribution, and the distribution will be like, well, we didn't get crap anyway, so here, have it at a terrible markup price. And then everything else will get slammed through the Pokemon Center company, or it'll get shipped out through Target and Walmart and other places. And that's kind of how that's going to be. Final Fantasy. Yeah. I'm going to save that for another video because, yeah, that's going to be interesting. Bye.